My girlfriend told me she was putting her ex's name on our baby's birth certificate because it was easier for insurance. I said okay. Then I canceled our apartment lease, forwarded her text to her ex, and sent him a congratulations on fatherhood gift basket. The call I got from his furious wife 3 hours later was absolutely worth it. I got the text while sitting in the waiting room at her first prenatal appointment. Let that sink in for a moment. I was literally there to support my pregnant girlfriend, took time off work, drove her to the clinic, sat in that uncomfortable plastic chair waiting for them to call her back. And she drops this bomb on me via text message while sitting 10 feet away from me through a glass door. The message from Jessica read, "Been thinking, when baby comes I'm putting Trevor's name on the birth certificate, easier for insurance and stuff. You understand, right? We know the truth, and that's what matters." Trevor. Her ex-boyfriend. The guy she swore up and down she hadn't spoken to in over a year. The guy she told me was completely out of her life. The guy whose name apparently still meant enough to her that she wanted it on our child's legal documents. I sat there staring at my phone, reading it 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding something. Then I looked through those glass doors at her sitting in the exam room, phone in her hand, not even bothering to look up and see my reaction. 2 years together. 6 months living in our apartment that I was paying for since she quit her job. 3 months pregnant with what I genuinely believed was our future, our family. I texted back one word. Okay. She actually smiled when she read it. Gave me a thumbs up through the glass like I just agreed to pick up groceries on the way home. Like this was no big deal. Like she hadn't just told me she planned to commit fraud and put another man's name on my child's birth certificate for better insurance coverage. The nurse called her back for the ultrasound. Usually I'd jump up, excited to see those first images. Instead, I walked out to my car and sat there for 20 minutes just processing what had happened. Then I started making some very calculated decisions. First call went to my buddy Alex, who works as a family law paralegal. I kept it hypothetical. If someone puts another man's name on a birth certificate when they know it's not his kid, is that fraud? He said absolutely, no question. I asked another question. If someone's name is on a birth certificate but they can prove they were deceived, can they sue? He said, oh, definitely, fraud, emotional distress, financial damages, the works. He asked why I was asking. I told him I'd explain later. Then I got to work. Our lease was month to month, both our names on it. I'd been paying the full rent every month since Jessica's morning sickness got bad, and she decided working was too much stress. I called the landlord right there from the parking lot and gave 30 days notice to vacate. Perfectly legal since we were both tenants and either one of us could end the agreement. The landlord seemed surprised but didn't ask questions. Next I did some social media detective work. Found Trevor pretty easily. Wasn't hard. Married 2 years ago to a woman named Monica. Their profiles were full of happy couple photos, vacation pictures, anniversary posts. His most recent post from literally yesterday said, "Can't wait to start a family with my amazing wife." Oh buddy, I thought. You have no idea what's coming your way. I took a screenshot of Jessica's text message, created a brand new email account, and sent it to Trevor with a subject line, "Congratulations, you're going to be a dad." The email was simple and to the point. Your ex Jessica wanted me to let you know she's pregnant and planning to put your name on the birth certificate. She says it's easier that way. Thought you should know since you'll be legally and financially responsible for the next 18 years. Congrats on the baby. Then, because I was hurt and angry and feeling extremely petty, I went on one of those gift basket websites and ordered a congratulations new dad basket. Had it sent to Trevor's work address that I found on LinkedIn. The card attached said, "From Jessica and the baby, can't wait for you to be involved." Cost me about $90. Best money I ever spent. By the time Jessica got home from her appointment, I'd already started quietly packing my essential stuff. She walked in all cheerful asking, "Hey babe, sorry you had to leave early, everything okay?" I told her yeah, all good, just remembered I had a work thing to handle. She bought it completely. Didn't question it at all. Spent the entire evening talking excitedly about baby names and nursery colors and what kind of crib we should get. I nodded along and agreed with everything while mentally cataloging which items in the apartment were mine to pack. That night around 9, she got a text. Then another. Then her phone started ringing. Non-stop. She kept declining the calls, but they just kept coming back. Finally, she answered one, and I could hear a man's angry voice even from across the room. "What the hell, Jessica? What baby, what birth certificate?" She tried to play dumb. "I don't know what you're talking about, Trevor. Don't lie to me. Someone sent me your text about putting my name on a birth certificate. Monica is losing her mind. She thinks I cheated on her." Jessica's face went completely white. "Someone sent you, oh my God. It's not what it looks like." "Then what is it? Are you pregnant?" Long pause. "Yes." "Is it mine?" "No." "Then why the hell would you put my name on the birth certificate?" "It's complicated. You have better insurance through your job and you work in tech, so." "Are you insane? That's fraud and I'm married." "I know you're married. That's why it would work. You wouldn't actually want custody or anything." He hung up on her. But here's where things got really interesting. Jessica came storming into the bedroom where I was pretending to be asleep. "Did you send that text to Trevor?" I sat up, played completely innocent. "What text?" "Don't play stupid with me. Someone sent him our private conversation." I corrected her. "Our private conversation about you committing fraud?" She actually had the audacity to look offended. "It's not fraud. It's just paperwork. It's for the baby's benefit." I looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "Jessica, you want to lie on an official government document. That's literally the definition of fraud." She rolled her eyes at me. "Trevor has amazing insurance through his tech job. You're freelance. Your insurance is terrible. So your solution was to unilaterally decide to commit fraud and make another man financially responsible for my child without telling him or me or anyone. It's not like that. He wouldn't have to actually do anything except be legally and financially responsible for 18 years. Oh, and also explain to his wife why his ex's baby has his name on official documents. You're overreacting." "Am I? Did you even consider that he's married, that this could destroy his marriage?" She actually rolled her eyes again and said that's not my problem. And there it was. The mask completely off. The person I thought I knew just casually admitting she'd ruin someone's marriage for better insurance. The next morning while Jessica was in the shower, her phone rang. The caller ID said Monica. I didn't answer it, let it go to voicemail. Jessica played it later on speaker, not realizing I was in the hallway listening. The message was pure fury. "You pathetic home-wrecking piece of trash. Trevor told me everything. If you put his name on any document, I will see you into oblivion. I'm a lawyer, sweetie, and what you're planning is fraud. Stay away from my husband, or I will destroy you legally and financially." Jessica actually laughed when the message ended. Said out loud to herself, "She's so dramatic." That afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Monica. She asked if I was Jessica's boyfriend. I said for now. She asked if I was the one who sent the email to Trevor. I told her I could neither confirm nor deny. She thanked me profusely. Said I'd saved them from a nightmare, that Trevor was about to unknowingly become legally responsible for a child that wasn't his. I told her he should probably talk to a lawyer and document everything. She said already on it. Then she asked if the baby was mine. I said supposedly. She went quiet. Then she said get a paternity test. I told her it was already in my plans. That evening, Jessica announced she was going to stay with her mom for a few days until things calmed down. I pointed out that things would be calm if she hadn't tried to commit fraud. She said I betrayed her trust by going behind her back. I almost laughed. "You wanted to put another man's name on my child's birth certificate, and I'm the one who betrayed trust?" She started crying, said I didn't understand the pressure she was under, that being pregnant was hard. She was just trying to do what's best. I told her what's best is not committing felonies. She packed a bag and left. 20 minutes later, I got a text from her mother, Diane. "How dare you stress out my pregnant daughter? She's fragile right now." I responded that her daughter tried to commit paternity fraud, which is a felony in this state. Diane wrote back that Jessica was just confused, pregnancy hormones. I replied asking if hormones made her plan fraud with enough detail to text me about it. She called me heartless. I didn't respond. The next day, I took the day off work and moved every single thing I owned out of that apartment. Left all the furniture, since it was mostly hers anyway. But I took everything I'd bought. The TV, gaming console, coffee maker, the good pans, my books, my clothes, everything. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. I left a note on the kitchen counter. Lease ends in 30 days. Your mom can probably help with rent. Good luck with Trevor's insurance. Then I forwarded my new address to the post office and never looked back. Jessica completely lost her mind when she came back to a half-empty apartment with an eviction notice taped to the door. The text started immediately. Where are you? Where's all your stuff? The landlord says you ended the lease. You can't do this. I'm pregnant. Answer me right now. This is illegal. I'm calling the cops. She actually did call the police. They called me to get my side. I explained calmly that I'd legally ended a month-to-month lease that I was on and removed my own personal belongings. They told her it was a civil matter and there was nothing they could do. Then came the family brigade. Her sister Lauren called first with a whole "you need to man up and take care of your responsibilities" speech. I asked what responsibilities exactly. She said your child. I reminded her that Jessica wanted to put another man's name on the birth certificate. Lauren said she explained that it was for insurance purposes. I said that's called fraud, Lauren. It's a crime. She accused me of abandoning my child. I told her I wasn't abandoning anyone. I'd take a paternity test when the baby was born, and if it was mine, I'd absolutely be there, but I wasn't staying with someone who thinks fraud is a casual solution to insurance issues. Her dad, Robert, tried a different approach. Called me son, said he knew Jessica made a mistake, but couldn't I forgive her for the baby's sake? I asked him if he understood that his daughter's mistake was planning to lie on an official document and make an innocent man legally responsible for a child that wasn't his. He said she wasn't thinking clearly. I pointed out she was thinking clearly enough to text me about it while I was sitting in the waiting room of her prenatal appointment. That seemed pretty calculated to me. He asked couldn't I co-parent at least. I said absolutely, if the baby's mine I'll co-parent, but I can't trust her anymore because she showed me exactly who she is. Meanwhile, the Trevor and Monica situation was escalating into something beautiful. Monica had hired a lawyer and sent Jessica an official cease and desist letter warning her that any attempt to put Trevor's name on any legal documents would result in immediate legal action for fraud. Jessica, displaying that brilliant judgment she's known for, decided to try smoothing things over by messaging Trevor directly. I know this because Monica and I had been comparing notes and she forwarded me the screenshots. Jessica wrote, "Hey, I'm sorry about the misunderstanding. Can we talk?" Trevor wrote back, "No, don't contact me again." She wrote, "It's not what you think. I just needed help with insurance." He wrote, "That's fraud. My lawyer says any further contact will be considered harassment." She actually wrote back, "Your wife made you get a lawyer. Controlling much?" He wrote, "My wife saved me from being baby trapped by my crazy ex. I'm blocking you now." But Jessica wasn't done making things worse for herself. She decided to play the victim on social media. Posted this long dramatic thing about how some people can't handle a woman trying to provide for her baby and how devastating it is when someone you thought loved you betrays you. The comments were not what she expected. One mutual friend wrote, "Wait, didn't you try to put your ex's name on the birth certificate?" Another wrote, "That's literally fraud, hun." Her own cousin commented, "Girl, delete this. You're embarrassing yourself." The post was gone within an hour, but the screenshots lived forever. Then came what Jessica probably thought would be her trump card. Her mom called me crying, saying Jessica was having complications from the stress. I asked what kind of complications. High blood pressure, apparently. The doctor said she needed to avoid stress. I said then she should probably stop trying to commit fraud and manipulate people. Diane asked how I could be so cold when that was my baby. I said, "Is it?" Because she was pretty eager to legally declare it as Trevor's. Diane insisted Jessica just made a mistake. I said, "No, Diane. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. This was a calculated plan to defraud someone and commit a felony." The guilt trips continued for days after that. Pictures of Jessica looking sad and tired. Messages about how the baby needs a father. Sob stories about struggling pregnant women. But I'd already consulted a lawyer by this point. If the baby was mine, I'd fight for custody. And given Jessica's attempted fraud documented in her own text messages, my lawyer said I had an excellent case. 3 months passed. The baby was born 2 weeks ago. A little girl they named Sophia. I was there for the birth, not in the room because Jessica didn't want me there, but I was at the hospital. I'd made it clear through my lawyer that I wanted a paternity test done immediately. Jessica fought it at first, said it was insulting, and proved I never trusted her. But when the hospital staff explained I had the legal right to request it before signing any documents, she had no choice but to agree. The results came back in 48 hours. Sophia is mine. The relief I felt was overwhelming, immediately followed by absolute rage that Jessica had been willing to deny me my own daughter for better insurance coverage. But here's where Jessica's entitlement really reached peak levels. With paternity confirmed, she expected me to immediately move back in and play happy family. She actually said, "See, I told you she was yours. Now we can put all this behind us and move forward." I looked at her like she'd grown a second head. "No, Jessica, we're not getting back together. I'll be filing for joint custody." Her face went from hopeful to furious in about 2 seconds. "You can't take my baby." I corrected her. "Our baby, and I'm not taking her. I'm asking for joint custody, which is completely fair." She said, "Fair? You abandoned me while I was pregnant." I reminded her that she tried to commit paternity fraud, and I have it in writing. She tried every manipulation technique in the book after that. Sophia needs her parents together. Should have thought of that before the fraud. I'm breastfeeding. She can't be away from me. Pumping exists. You don't know anything about babies. YouTube and parenting classes exist. I'll figure it out. You'll never see her. Good luck with that argument in court. My lawyer filed for joint custody immediately. Jessica countered by asking for full custody with only supervised visitation for me, claiming I was unstable and had abandoned her during pregnancy. The court hearing was last week. Jessica showed up playing the victim perfectly. Soft voice, tears at the ready, the whole performance. Her lawyer argued that I was an unfit father who'd abandoned a pregnant woman in her time of need. Then my lawyer presented the evidence. The original text message about putting Trevor's name on the birth certificate. Multiple text exchanges where Jessica admitted it was for insurance fraud. A written statement from Monica about Jessica's attempts to make her husband legally responsible for another man's child. The cease and desist letter Jessica had received. Character witnesses including my employer, my landlord, and several neighbors who could attest to my stability and character. The judge's face when he read through everything was absolutely priceless. He actually looked directly at Jessica and asked, "Ma'am, did you actually plan to put another man's name on this child's birth certificate when you knew he wasn't the father?" Jessica stammered something about being confused and pregnancy hormones. The judge looked back at the text message and said, "This text seems pretty clear. You specifically said it was easier for insurance purposes." Jessica started crying, said she wasn't thinking straight. The judge said, "Ma'am, attempting to falsify a birth certificate is a serious crime in this state." The crying got louder, real tears this time because she was realizing how badly she'd screwed up. The ruling came down. Joint legal custody with a graduated physical custody schedule. I get Sophia every weekend now, graduating to 50-50 when she's 6 months old. Jessica has to attend counseling for a minimum of 6 months. Any attempt at parental alienation will result in revisiting the custody agreement in my favor. Jessica absolutely lost it. Started screaming in the courthouse about how I was stealing her baby, and the judge was discriminating against mothers. The judge warned her she was close to contempt of court. Her mother had to physically drag her out of the courtroom while she was still yelling. The aftermath has been predictable and exhausting. Jessica's been telling everyone who'll listen that I'm a deadbeat who abandoned her and is now stealing her baby. The problem is most people know about the birth certificate situation by now, so she's not getting the sympathy she expected. Trevor and Monica are doing great actually. She's pregnant now, for real, with Trevor's actual baby. They sent me a congratulations card when Sophia was born. Weird maybe, but I think we bonded over dodging Jessica's manipulation together. Jessica's mom still calls regularly trying to guilt trip me. Jessica's struggling financially. She needs help with rent. I tell her Jessica should get a job, but she has a newborn. So do I, and I still work full-time. You're heartless. No, I'm just not an ATM for someone who tried to commit fraud. Jessica tried one final manipulation last week. Sent me a long emotional text about how she's been reflecting and growing and realizes she made a mistake. Said maybe we could try again for Sophia's sake. Give her a real family. I responded with a screenshot of her original text about the birth certificate. Nothing else, just that screenshot. She called me every name in the book. I didn't respond to that either. Look, I'm not proud of every petty thing I did. The gift basket to Trevor's office was probably over the top. But I'm also not sorry. Jessica was willing to deny me my daughter, commit fraud, and destroy someone else's marriage just for better insurance coverage. She played stupid games and won stupid prizes. Now I have my daughter 3 days a week, soon to be 50-50 once she's older. I've got a nice one-bedroom apartment closer to my work and a court order protecting my parental rights. Jessica has a 2-bedroom apartment she can't afford, a reputation as someone who tried to commit paternity fraud, and a custody arrangement she hates but can't change. As for Sophia, she's absolutely perfect. Doesn't care about any of the adult drama. Just wants her bottle and her cuddles and to sleep. I've got a whole nursery set up at my place. Probably went overboard with all the pink everything, but I don't care. My lawyer told me Jessica's already inquired about modifying the custody arrangement. Apparently, she wants to move to another state with Sophia for a fresh start. The answer was a hard no. She can't relocate without my consent or court approval, and she won't get approval given her history of attempted fraud. The entitlement still hasn't stopped, though. Just last night, she texted asking if I could cover her electricity bill for Sophia's sake. I sent her $20 on Venmo with a note for Sophia's nightlight. She called me pathetic. I sent another $5 with a note for tissues, since you're clearly crying. She blocked me on Venmo. Totally worth it. Anyway, that's my story. Didn't expect to be a single dad at 31, but here we are. Sophia is worth every bit of the drama. And honestly, finding out who Jessica really was before we got married or had more kids together, that $90 gift basket to Trevor might have been the best money I ever spent in my entire life.